June talk laddies. So I wanted to make another Tierlist video because I thought, hey, why not? That sounds like a fun idea. You remember Vine? You remember how it's dead like for several years? I'm gonna be ranking Paladins Champions by like how good I think they'd be at making vines. Okay, so to explain a little bit more about what we're going to be doing, I have no fucking clue. This is literally just going to be like I think this character goes in like this tier list. Starting off with Androxus. I feel like Andro would be like I feel like he would be hip, like he'd know what Vine is, but I don't know if he'd actually be like a proper like Vine enthusiast. Kind of just someone who casually uses it, doesn't care a whole lot. So honestly, probably a C. Ash. Okay, so I feel like Ash could be like, Ash is interesting, okay? She could be like the hip, cool, like older person who knows what Vine is and actually is interested in it, or she could be the complete fucking boomer who doesn't give two flying shits. I think I honestly probably lean towards the latter, so I'm gonna put her in like E tier because I feel like she probably doesn't care a whole lot. Atlas. I feel like Atlas is probably a B. Like I feel like he probably cares more than he actually knows what Vine is. So he's probably like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. This is what the kids are doing. Barrick I feel like would be also a B. I feel like he'd know what it is. He'd be like mildly interested. He'd be like a very like minor Vine user. Bomb King probably B tier as well. Probably just like an average user. Buck I feel like would probably be C tier. I'll put him in D tier actually. I feel like Buck is probably more worried and busy about like other shit than Vine. Like you know what it is. He'd be aware of it, but he just wouldn't care a whole lot about it. Cassie would probably be A. I feel like that one's pretty obvious. Cassie's like the maybe even S. I feel like she'd be the person like on Twitter, Instagram, all different social medias doing like fucking 15 posts a day. So of course she's gonna know what Vine is. She's gonna be fucking making Vines constantly. Corvus is probably gonna be like I'm gonna put him in D tier. Like he knows what it is, definitely 100%, but he just does not care. Like he finds it annoying. Dredge probably an F. We'll put him in E. Like Dredge I feel like has the slightest clue. I feel like with Dredge it's not that he doesn't care about like vines at all. It's just that he'd be so fucking oblivious as to what a vine is that like he could barely participate in it. Drogos would probably be like another D. Actually, I'll put him in C tier. Like I feel like he'll use it for clout and nothing else because that's befitting for Drogos. Evie would probably be an A. She also feels like the very like hip cool kid. I don't fucking know. I feel like Evie would probably actually I might put Evie in S tier. I feel like she would have like a pretty poppin' Vine account too. Like not only would she be interested in it, know all about it, she'd be funny on it. Fernando, I'm gonna put an A. I'm not even that one just feels right. Furia, I'm gonna put in like a B tier. Like I think she would just be naturally good at it. Like I think Furia just has like her natural personality. She'd be pretty darn good at making vines, but she wouldn't really care a whole lot about it. Croc I'm gonna put in like A tier. I feel like he's like Dredge where he probably wouldn't know a lot about it, but he would just be excited to try it out. And somehow he would manage to make decent vines. Imani I'm gonna put in a B tier. Basically the exact same thing as Furia. Actually I might put her in A tier. I feel like she'd be good at it. I feel like she might have like a light interest in Vine as a concept. Grova I'm gonna put in C tier. Actually I'll put him in B tier. I think I would label him the same as like Barrick or Bomb King where like he cares and like he lightly knows what it is, but also he's not like an avid Vine user. Inara is probably also going to be like a B tier. She doesn't care a whole lot about Vine in and of itself. I feel like she would care more about like people having fun on it. So I feel like she'd be B tier. Io is S tier. I think that's fair. Genos is like D tier. Literally like the same thing as Buck. Khan is probably F tier. I think Khan has zero interest in Vine. He'd probably be like, I think Khan would like realistically be like the boomer being like, you kids and your low attention spans. 6 seconds. How could you possibly tell a joke in 6 seconds? Even though I think his like in-game joke is probably under 6 seconds. Have you heard the Scotland parable about honor? It doesn't exist. Yeah, that's under 6 seconds. Kanessa, I feel like would probably be like I'm gonna put her in A. Like I feel like she'd be like decent at making vines, and then she would care a decent bit about it as well. Koga, I feel like would probably be I'm gonna put him in E. Like I feel like Koga would use it, but like more as like a dating site than an actual social media. Lex, I'm gonna put in C. I just don't think he cares. I might put him in F actually. I'm gonna put him in C because I feel like he's at least like peripherally aware of Vine. I think that's a word. Leon is probably an A tier. Similar to Furia and Imani, I feel like she wouldn't have an extreme interest in it. She'd be like very lightly interested, but she'd just be good at making vines. Maeve, I'm gonna put in like a B tier. I think Maeve would probably like fucking be down as shit for Vine, but she just probably wouldn't be fucking great at making them, but like in a lovable way. Makoa, I feel like Makoa is probably gonna be a B tier. Same reason as Inara. I feel like he's like, all right, as long as people are having fun, as long as they're having a jolly good time, I don't care about any of this shit. I just am happy people are happy, so I'm for Vine. I feel like that's Koa. Aldamba, I'm gonna put in like in C tier. I think he would be again peripherally aware words. He wouldn't really care at all. Moji, I'm gonna put in A. Maybe even S tier. I feel like Moji's probably like the friend in your friend group who is just like really into Vine. Not so much that like they make it their entire personality, but if you ask them about Vine, they can tell you like 60,000 Vine, and they get excited whenever you ask them for a Vine compilation. Pip, I'm gonna put in A tier. I feel like he'd be interested in making Vines, and I feel like he could do okay at it. The most praise I'm gonna give to this fucker. Rom is gonna be like a solid D tier. I feel like he just doesn't care. I feel like he probably just wouldn't care. Shocker that a fucking Rom wouldn't care. But Ruckus I'm gonna put in probably an A tier as well. I feel like he's gonna, like, in YouTube terms, just play the algorithm super well, and he's just gonna make like popular shit content. Saris is probably gonna be like a B tier, like a mild interest, should be okay at it. Beyond that, probably not much. Shaolin I think is probably gonna be an S tier as well. I don't know why, but like Shaolin and that one fucking Vine dude give me the exact same vibe. Like I legitimately feel like they just put that dude inside Paladins. Sky is probably gonna be an A tier, maybe even a B. Like I would put her like low A, high B. I feel like she's probably gonna be like Maeve a lot. Strix. All right, here's the thing. I feel like Strix is probably a B, maybe even an A. I might put him like above Sky, but like still low A. I feel like Strix cares. I feel like Vine would be like Strix's like guilty pleasure. Like he enjoys it, but he doesn't really like talk about it at all. He doesn't make any Vines, but he interacts with the community enough on his like private like throwaway accounts that like he's a core part of it. Talus is probably going to be either high A or like low S. I think he cares a decent bit, but then I think he would also just be really fucking good at it. Terminus I'm going to put C. I think he cares lightly. I think he would be lightly okay at it, but I don't think enough to go into B tier. Tiberius is probably going to go in B tier. I feel like it's just, again, light interest, probably like decent at it. It's painful to say, but it's Torvald, probably F tier. Like Inara, like Koa, I feel like he's probably like, yeah, this is awesome. It's something that like the kids are enjoying, but also he doesn't understand it in the fucking slightest. Like for a man who studies arcanic runes and like magical technology, he just can't comprehend the magic of TikTok. Not to Vine. Shit, wait, no. Probably either, to be honest. That's probably fair. Tira, I'm gonna put in like D tier. Probably doesn't care. Probably knows a fair bit about Vine, but just doesn't care a whole lot. Victor, I'm gonna put in like E tier. Maybe D tier. My headcanon says it's the same thing as Tira, but I think realistically he's probably E tier because he probably knows even less about TikTok. Fucking Vine. Why do I keep calling it TikTok? I'm gonna put him in D tier though, because this is kind of like a headcanon list anyways. Vivian, probably E tier. I feel like she like cares about it and she tries, but also she doesn't care that much. Will is probably gonna be like a C tier. Like I feel like she probably like uses the platform. She probably makes the occasional Vine, but she doesn't actually put any effort into actually making the Vine. Ying's probably gonna be an A tier. Similar to Sky, I think she probably cares a lot. I'd put her definitely above Sky, probably like somewhere around Pip. But Zin. All right, here's the thing, right? Zin could either be B tier or S tier. He could be either or. I feel like he definitely has like the energy to just be like this like pissed off, like this sort of like straight stone face style humor. I feel like he would do that obviously pretty fucking well. But then the question is, would he even care enough to do that? Like he could be really fucking good at it, but I don't think he would care all that much. I'm gonna stick him in B tier for right now. Aura is probably C tier. Like I think she does care about it in the opposite direction. She probably actively dislikes it, but she's actually just like decent. And so like even though she doesn't like it, whenever like Yagoroth makes a Vine or whatever the fuck, and she's in the background and it gets like more views or whatever the fuck. Speaking of Yagoroth, I feel like Yagoroth's probably a B tier. I don't ask me why. I just feel like she's like, I feel like she'd be like a super Vine fan. I feel like she'd be like making her own Vines, constantly using the app. She is like the emoji, but like publicly to her friend group. Octavia, I feel like is probably E. Like I think she's just probably bad at it and she does not care. Kind of like Ash in a lot of ways. Batu is C. I think he's just the epitome of just not caring about it in the slightest. He could kind of find it annoying how it's talked about constantly, but he could also find a little bit of joy in the fact that like people are still enjoying it. Something that brings people happiness basically. So I feel like those kind of even out and he just is like completely, it's like solid neutral on it. Ray, I feel like Ray would probably be B. Kind of like a lighter version of Yagoroth. She's kind of like that friend that like actively talks about Vines, that she doesn't necessarily make Vine compilations, but she'll reference Vines a whole lot. I just realized that's the me in the friend group. Fuck. I'm either the Moji or the Ray. Satsi, probably B tier as well. Like a light interest and she's like fairly decent at making them. Azan, probably a D tier. I feel like he does not care, but he doesn't like go out of his way to actively like be bad at it or hate people. So he's going in D. 7, probably like, I'm gonna put him in C. I feel like he has like the slightest knowledge of what Vine is and maybe like the slightest of curiosity, but he does not pursue it in the slightest. Betty's probably gonna be, I'll put her in B as well, like bottom of B. Kind of like lightly interested in it. She's like decent at making Vines, but she's not like a super fan or some shit. Lilith, I'm also gonna put in B. Light interest, decent at making it, you know, the whole shebang. Caspian, all right. I had to put Tiberius above C. I'm not gonna do that for Caspian. I don't know why. I talked about this before. I just hate Caspian as a champion. He's like Shaolin, but if you took all like the worst parts about Shaolin and then you stuffed them into Koga and then you just got Caspian. Kasumi. We're gonna pronounce it like that. I feel like she's probably C tier. I feel like she's just kind of like Maldamba, just kind of a true neutral in this shit. I feel like she's like somewhere between Fatu and Maldamba, just kind of like neutral. Neek's probably like a B tier, like light interest, decent at it, but also she doesn't care that much. Omen is probably like a D tier. He probably has an interest in it, but he's probably just also pretty bad at it, but he's gonna get better. Let him be. You know, actually I might put him in C tier. Just say like he's getting better over time, starts learning how to make Vines. And with that's this tier list done. I think that's probably the best positioning for this tier list. Hopefully, I don't know. If you disagree with any of these positions, let me know in the comment section down below. It helps engagement. Again, I'm kind of just using my headcanons for all these guys, so they could be wildly different. Like, there's no technical lore reason why Moji should be S tier. I just feel like she is. Like, you look at Moji as like a character and you're like, this is definitely somebody who just adores vines. But nevertheless, I think that's where I'm going to leave this video. So have mercy, good luck in cosplays. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!